Good morning, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, and Shinrin-yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Friday, November 11th, around noon Mountain Time, 2022. Here's the snowfall analysis. Big snow over the last few days in the west. Also, 7.3 magnitude earthquake and tsunami warnings, which have been downgraded. But the big story, at least 2 reported dead as Nicole weakens after striking Florida's east coast as the first U.S. hurricane in November in 4 decades. Keep calm, it's boom time. Still a dangerous storm. Homes are collapsing into the ocean in Florida. And what's behind that dangerous situation? Well, we had a prior event. Ian erode some of the beaches in this region, and they were not repaired. So even a small storm can wreak havoc. And if you come over to our Twitter, Oppenheimer Ranch Project at Diamond the Dave, we do have some of that storm coverage. Here is a shot of downtown Daytona this morning with some of that flooding still in effect. It's like high tide there, probably. And we do have some more footage of that destruction in some of those houses that were most hard hit. So overall, most people fared well, except some of the people closest to the beaches. You can see here a live shot of a tree falling. It's a sad situation. So our hearts and prayers go out to those affected by the event, and it's still not over. Nicole is still a tropical depression, maximum sustained winds at 30 miles per hour. It's sitting right here, North Georgia, and it's going to be, well, actually, it's moved a little further up towards Kentucky at this point. We'll get to those models. It's still going to bring some dangerous flooding rains here, up to 4 or more inches here. We're talking Cold Mountain down through Asheville in those regions. The North Broad River will be flooding to amazing levels, so I hope no one's going to be putting any kayaks in there. But look, you can see overall the rain up to 4 inches in western PA, so there is going to be some flooding events here with this storm as it continues. Now, Alta has already eclipsed 100 inches of snow, and they're not even open yet. This is the kind of stuff we're talking about. Skiers and snowboarders enjoying an epic early season conditions at Mammoth. Let's take a look at some of those powder turns. Powder in November at Mammoth Mountain. Looking good, good stuff. Looks the same up here at Wolf Creek, where we have over 40 inches already this year. And there's just more snow on the horizon. Beautiful picture there. And lots of snow. And century-old low temperature records continue to tumble across Canada, and snowfall benchmarks are busted in Nevada. We're going to get to the SnowTel West Side map in a second. It's insane. Michigan's weekend weather turns to winter. Areas of snow forecast as Yosemite gets pummeled with snow. It looks like a winter wonderland. And you can see the Sierras picking up over 3 feet of snow to the south here. Many areas with these dark patches are over 3 feet of snow. The blizzard that came through North Dakota dumped 24 inches in a large region here. And there's more snow coming. No one's bumming. Here's the west side SnowTel current snow water equivalent, and just blow your mind here. This is an percentage above normal average, 300% or more for the entire state of Washington, 500% up to 2,000% above normal for Oregon there, and Nevada has up to 300% above normal for southern Nevada near Las Vegas. So looking fantastic.
Another race we're watching closely.
That was crazy. So the only place we need some moisture here at all is going to be east of the Rocky Mountain front. So good news for the west. Large-scale flood threat from Nicole. A large-scale flood threat is possible over the Appalachians and eastern Ohio Valley into west-central parts of Pennsylvania and New York State on Friday. A front will interact with weakening Nicole and its tropical moisture for a shield of intense, heavy, and excessive rainfall. Another potential hazard from decaying Nicole will be severe storms with brief tornadoes in the Carolinas and mid-Atlantic. So heads up there. You can see the flooding areas there, and this is where the tornado watch is in yellow. Already a tornado warning there issued for eastern Virginia. So click on your county for more info. Hard freeze for Texas, the nexus of the Schmexus, in the lighter purple, and freeze warnings in all the rest of the purple. So heads up. protect your sensitive plants in those regions. Here you can see the remnants of Nicole, which was Hurricane Nicole. It's going to rapidly intensify here Saturday. And so heads up, there is going to be a major threat for severe thunderstorms there. And at the back end, there's a little tailing event that's going to bring some snow to that region. So pretty interesting there. And then another nor'easter keyed up for Wednesday, November 16th in just about a week. It's going to be moving up the same region. So could be some more flood threats with an already saturated ground. Now let's take a look at the total snowfall expected with these events. There is that small system behind Nicole that's going to bring some snow up here through the Appalachians eventually. And west of the Appalachians, just a light dusting. Even Texas, the next of the Schmexes, the Panhandle, is going to be picking up some snow over the next few weeks. But it looks like the West is going to be left out until later in the month when take a look at the model showing what's happening here in British Columbia and up in Northwest Washington. That is a massive amount of snow. So another atmospheric river is slated to hit up in BC in mid-November. Now, Tonga issues a tsunami alert after a 7.3 magnitude earthquake strikes off the coast. No tsunamis have been reported, and the warning has since been lifted as we've had some major tremblers in the area. Another large quake happened just south of there. I think it was 6.3 magnitude within 36 hours. These quakes are very common in this region, and it's very common for them not to create tsunamis. So nothing out of the ordinary going on there. What do we have going on here in the U.S.? Tennessee, multiple little earthquake swarm happening in Tennessee and Arkansas. So is the New Madrid waking up? It certainly appears that that region is getting quite active. Worldwide volcano news update. Nothing spectacular as far as volcanic activity worldwide. Ibu, however, is having near-frequent eruptive activity. 2 pyroclastic flows reported from field observations. So this is a good volcano to visit and probably not die next to if you want to see an erupting one. Space weather news update. The large sunspot cluster briefly went beta gamma. AR 3141 briefly developed a beta gamma delta, even more complex. You can see it down here circled. Magnetic configuration and the instability within the lead section of the group is palpable. What does that mean? It means it started flaring. 2 minor M flares. These are all very rapid, almost instantaneous type flares. Typically, if they produce a CME, it's going to be minor. There might have been some minor CMA activity from this, but even though it's Earth-facing, probably very little effect, if any. So the sun is getting a little active with an Earth-facing sunspot group, but it's since gone a little quiet, and we do have a 10% X-flare threat currently. That's what they're saying. Now, have you heard? This is crazy. It actually doesn't get any dumber than this. Rainn Wilson from The Office changes his name to Rainfall Heatwave Extreme Winter Wilson for the melting Arctic. Let's take a look.
Hi there, I'm Rainn Wilson, or should I say rainfall, heat wave, rising sea levels, and we have to do something about it now, Wilson.
That's not even funny. It's not funny because for the melting Arctic, let's take a look at the Arctic. Here's the Arctic. It's not even winter, and the entire Arctic is covered in ice from Russia to Greenland to Canada to Alaska, covered in ice from coast to coast. And the 30-year median is the red line, where we can see that certain areas are exceeding that here in Alaska, as well up in northern Canada. But overall, pretty much an average Arctic year. Rain, fall, heat wave, extreme winter, Wilson. So dem's the facts. I don't know why I didn't just look at the data. Now, volcanic eruptions on the moon happened much more recently than we thought. A new study using lunar samples obtained by China's Chang'e 5 rover has revealed how the moon was able to remain volcanically active even after its mantle began to cool. Now, maybe or maybe not, this could be science fiction, but fusible mantle cumulates trigger young Maria volcanism on the cooling moon. Now, what does all that gobbledygook mean? Well, it means that they used a technique here, isotopically dated lunar basalts. So they dated them using isotopic analysis, and they found out that the lunar Maria basalts are, in fact, perhaps much younger than we initially thought. And that's about all the information that comes from this study. Not that exciting. Now, this is exciting as well as hilarious, and it shows you a lot about humanity. Before we knew about the magnetic field of Earth, people had an adorable explanation for why compasses worked, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen this map with the giant mountain on the North Pole, surrounded by water and rivers flowing into it. The people on Earth thought there was a giant magnetic mountain up there, and that's why compasses pointed toward it. Some people thought compasses also pointed towards Polaris, that could possibly be a magnetic star. Not very smart people back then. Now, the world map you're likely familiar with is based on the Mercator projection, a revolutionary way of representing the 3D world on a 2D map. And it was all created by cartographer Gardius Mercator in 1569. That's another little tidbit there. But we used to think there was a magnetic mountain up in the North Pole. Absolutely insane. Now, something that's not insane is a great interview I did with Brad Sistemus. And he's from 5 Times August. He is 5 Times August, actually. He's the front man, the singer, the songwriter, the legend, Brad Sistemus. 5 Times August, in his new album, Silent War. Excellent, stimulating conversation about the state of our nation. So join us tonight. It premieres in just 7 hours, and that's a boom to knowledge. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. I hope you got something out of the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share this with like-minded people. Become a Patreon and support the work we do. We love you. Be safe.